In college students, one of the things that most of us tend to experience while in college is miscommunication. While it might often be with our other classmates in a project of some sort, most of us tend to have miscommunication with a professor. In a study done by the U.S. Department of Education, when asking select groups of teachers and students at Muscabala University, 39% agreed that poor and ineffective communication is common between teachers and students, and another 44% agreed that it led to poor performances in students. Whether it's unclear instructions, misunderstanding to those set instructions, vague responses from professors, it's important that students understand the one person crucial to their success. By using the P-MOPS model of problem solving, our group, Voices in Motion, aims to analyze and understand the issue of miscommunication between students and professors. Following our textbook model of PMOPs, the first part about putting our problem into the PMOPs model is to break down and analyze why the miscommunication happens between professors. Miscommunication can happen between any two or more individuals, but professors are one of the most crucial people we need to understand in college. Many students in college have trouble when it comes to understanding instructions and reaching professors at appropriate times. Like for specific, here at Blinn, we have to reach out through office hours or sending emails where we know it's appropriate that we can get a response back. Um, in college, we are more prone to even to receive unclear emails and conflicts between written instructions that might be left to us in eCampus versus verbal instructions that were given to us while in class. But why is that? To really identify why miscommunication happens, it's to understand that it's both between students and their professors. Professors not having the best uh, contact with the students can lead to struggles with students not being successful in their class. Not having appropriate contact just completely doesn't help students at all. However, students aren't the best at communicating their issues to professors as well. Without that equal communication, it's hard for our professors to understand what our exact issue is. So, w- um, when these issues combine, this leads to more misinterpretations and causes issues with understanding what is being asked rather than what's being told to students directly. By understanding this issue of miscommunication between students and professors, we can apply this to the next step in the PMOPS model, which Maddie is going to take it away.
The second step of PMOPS moves from understanding the problem of miscommunication between professors and college students to explaining possible ways to fix that problem. The purpose of this phase is to come up with numerous realistic ways of lessening the confusion and keeping an open mind when brainstorming. One of the solutions was sending direct messages to the whole class. Sometimes younger students are more attentive to messages than they are emails, and apps like Remind or GroupMe facilitate the professors sending instant updates. And this could be a great way to alleviate missed announcements or announce sudden changes, especially for the students who miss email notifications. The second solution generated is communication checkpoints during the semester. This could be brief one-on-one progress check-ins with the professor. The intervals between the communication checkpoints will make communication a habit rather than it being sporadic, which could help lessen misunderstanding. The third idea is forming a student-led group for clarifications. One or two students could be the communication captains, and they could collect common questions from the group and give them to the professor after receiving the answers. Then they can communicate them to the class, and this could be a great way for the professor to get out of being in the group message. And the next step is to evaluate the potential solutions, and these are the three criteria chosen. Effectiveness, and does the solution really work in reducing communication? Feasibility, is it practical for professors and the students? And student engagement, will students actually partake in it or react to it? The app for texting and notifications scores high in effectiveness and engagement, as students are more likely to look at a text than an email. It's relatively simple to put into practice, so it also receives a good score in terms of feasibility. Communication checkpoints are very effective due to the fact that it's continuous reminders and they eliminate the confusion of assignments. Although it requires some effort from the side of the professor, it's still pretty feasible. And lastly, the student-led clarification group got the highest ranking for engagement because that way students can feel that they have control and it is feasible. However, its effectiveness is going to rely on the level of the volunteers' involvement. After generating these possible solutions and evaluating the potential outcomes, we can now move to step 4, which is choosing the best solution.
For the fourth step of the P-MOPS procedural model of problem solving is picking the best solution. To follow up with what Maddie said, all the solutions were very arguably of which is the best. But you have to ask yourself, which one is the most realistic and the most efficient solution? The solution with the most effectiveness, feasibility, and most access is apps like GroupMe or Remind. In another article published by the U.S. Department of Education titled Instant Reminder, The Impact of E-Communications on First-Year College Students, written by Professor Ching-Wong Chang, says that Remind is one of the top e-communication among college students based on numbers of 8.8 billion messages and over 20 million users, which covers about 70% of the U.S. public schools. Remind is a free app, also certified by iKeepSafe, and you're not required to collect cell phone numbers. According to another article published by a newspaper company called The Bucknellian, which is titled GroupMe, A Problematic Necessity for College Campuses, states that even if you use text messages, it can only hold up to 32 contacts, but with GroupMe, the number is unlimited. It also works on iPhones or Android users. Using apps like Remind or GroupMe allows students and professors to interact by sending quicker and faster updates or messages. The younger generation feeds off of technology, and as Maddie stated earlier, that more students prefer direct messages other than emails or going through your school's website just to find your professor's email. After finding our best solution, I went to pass it to Ella, who's going to discuss the last step of the P-MOPS.
The fifth step using P-MOPS is to implement the best solution. So bouncing off of what Mackenzie had stated in her step, using apps such as Remind or GroupMe allows students to interact with professors more quickly and efficiently, and vice versa. As technology continues to grow, it's important for these relationships between students and professors to also adapt to these new demands. Students are already more likely to ask questions or using text rather than email, and they're also more likely to respond in these situations because it's something that they receive on their phone, which we have on us all the time. And it also gives students and professors more sense of control. Emails are not as frequently responded to, so it makes GroupMe messages or Remind messages way more productive. An article published by Theme Circle titled "Should You Use GroupMe or Remind for Messaging?" states, "Remind is better when you need control. Students use it because it lets teachers send messages without opening a full group chat. It's quiet, focused, and safe for students and parents." So reminders ensure that students will also act on the solution. So sending these direct messages would just be the most effective because it's something that they're going to see over seeing an email. This is a great way for professors to use this tool if they're wanting to reiterate something that they had already stated in class or in an email, and it also helps those students who had missed an email or anything like that. So this could look like a professor sending out an announcement the night before an exam saying, "Exam at 10 a.m. tomorrow, bring 2 pencils and your ID." So yeah, there's many great ways to implement this into a classroom, but Remind and GroupMe have a super easy way of doing it. They basically, the professor will create the group, and then they can invite students to join the classroom using a unique code. And once it's set up, the platform can be used as the professor wishes. It can be used to send messages, reminders, or announcements to the entire class. So yeah. In conclusion, using PMOPs as the problem-solving process in this project has helped us clearly identify the issue the issue of miscommunication between professors and students, and it helped us develop a practical solution. By implementing these tools like Remind and GroupMe, we address the problem in a way that fits how students already communicate and how our technology is continuing to grow. PMOPs also allowed our group to organize our ideas, evaluate all of our options, and choose the most effective strategy. And that helped us make like a clearer communication environment and fewer missed messages.